Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. This year's Christmas celebrations at Sandringham will see significant changes, marking the first major shift since Queen Elizabeth's passing. King Charles and Queen Camilla will continue the tradition of attending church on Christmas morning on the Norfolk estate, joined by William and Kate and other senior members of the royal family. However, the guest list for the Christmas lunch at Sandringham House is undergoing a notable transformation, including many members of Queen Camilla's family for the first time. This shift necessitates a change in the Mills location to accommodate the additional guests, confirming that Prince Harry and Meghan will not be in attendance. Traditionally, Queen Camilla has hosted her children and grandchildren at her private family home in Wiltshire. As a royal source familiar with this year's arrangements at Sandringham stated, the Queen has invited her children and grandchildren this year, which is different from previous years. Camilla has 2 children and 5 grandchildren. With the inclusion of the Queen's consort family, the Christmas table will be set up in a larger room. The addition of the Queen's family means extra space is needed, an insider mentioned. Unlike previous years, the festive lunch will be served in Sandringham House's larger ballroom rather than the dining room. Last Christmas, the presence of a few members of Camilla's family required an extra table in the white drawing room, but this year the preference is for dining all together. Despite these changes, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will not be present. The Queen's family includes her son, Tom Parker Bowles, daughter Laura Lopes, and sister Annabelle Elliott, who is one of Camilla's close personal aides, now referred to as the Queen's companions. Annabelle, an interior designer and antiques dealer, is involved in refurbishing some of the rooms on Sandringham Estate, including Wood Farm, where King Charles' father, Prince Philip, spent much of his retirement. King Charles plans to spend more time in Norfolk and, like his father, will stay at Wood Farm Cottage instead of the entire house. Annabelle's assisting King Charles with several refurbishments, a project he is closely involved in, even down to the colour of paint for walls and doors. This Christmas, Prince Andrew and Fergie, the Duchess of York, will stay at Wood Farm, a short drive from Sandringham House. Fergie is currently making guest appearances on ITV's This Morning, amid rumours she might replace Holly Willoughby on the show. Royal insiders note that Sandringham, under King Charles, is markedly different, reflecting his workaholic approach to his new role as monarch. One version of the Christmas plan would allow Charles to see Harry and Meghan while leaving William out of the awkwardness. A royal insider to the Daily Mail suggested that rather than invite Harry and Meghan to Sandringham, Charles could ask them to visit in Scotland over New Year when William, Kate and their family would be at their country retreat of Amner Hall in Norfolk. The source said it would certainly have the advantage of killing 2 birds with one stone, extending an olive branch to one son without causing difficulty to the other. Another source said not to count on any of this. Christmas plans are normally nailed down by now, as Sandringham isn't a particularly big place and there's not a lot of room for the entire extended family. It would be surprising for the Sussexes not to have received an invitation by now if there was going to be one. New Year in Scotland would be more likely, but as with anything to do with Harry and Meghan, let's face it, anything can happen. Royal expert Jenny Bond doesn't think William will be too upset. She told The Sun, little Archie and Lilibet should be running around with their many cousins, pulling crackers, opening presents and understanding their place in the family, connecting with their relatives even though their lives are thousands of miles away, but that's not going to happen. I don't think William will be shedding a tear over this. Deep down, I'm sure he still loves Harry, but I don't think he can see a way out of the rift that has opened between them. I think William has closed his mind to the prospect of reconciliation with Harry, and I can't see a time when Meghan would be welcomed back into the bosom of the family, or a time when she would ever want to be welcomed back. I doubt that William thinks about them for more than a fleeting moment, and then he probably tries to blank out those thoughts. Palace Intrigue will be right back. A poll done by The Mirror suggests Kate Middleton's uncle should set the record straight with a tell-all book. The younger brother of Kate's mother, Carol Middleton, Gary Goldsmith, is reportedly adding the finishing touches to his tell-all book that will reveal private family details. A source said, Gary is still very close to both Carol and Kate. He doesn't want to do anything that will embarrass them, but it could be a good way of putting a Middleton voice out there to set the record straight over some of the things Harry wrote about in Spare. Jenny Bond told OK, if he starts disputing how events have played out, it will surely only deepen the rift and provoke retaliation from the Sussexes, and so the vicious circle will continue. Mirror readers were asked if they think Mr. Goldsmith should release a tell-all book, and 72% said yes, he should. One reader wrote, Why not? If a member of the royals can write a book accusing them of all kinds of things wrong in that family, why shouldn't a non-royal member of Kate's family write a book too? Fergie shared an update about Queen Elizabeth's corgis. She said, "Last year I found myself welcoming to the family 2 corgis in need of a home after the passing of Her Majesty the Queen. I have Muick and Sandy and 5 Norfolk Terriers, so there are now 7 dogs in total. Muick had his tail down to begin with, and now a year later he's only just beginning to really enjoy himself." And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, Apple, or your app of choice. And if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue, and good times.